Hey guys, I miss you all, and I just thought that I would read to you this book, Purple, Green, and Yellow. I know we've read this a couple times this year, and you guys really seem to like it. So it's called Purple, Green, and Yellow. Bridget went to her mother and said, "I need some coloring markers. All my friends have coloring markers. They draw wonderful pictures. Mommy, I need some coloring markers." "Oh no," said her mother. "I've heard about those coloring markers. Kids draw on the walls, they draw on the floor, they draw on themselves. You can't have any coloring markers." You think Bridget's gonna like that? Let's see. "Well," said Bridget, "there are these new coloring markers and they wash off with just water. I can't get into any trouble with coloring markers that wash off. Give me some of those." "Well," said her mother, "all right." So her mother went out and got Bridget 500 washable coloring markers. Bridget went up to her room and drew wonderful pictures. She drew lemons that were yellower than lemons, and roses that were redder than roses, and oranges that were oranger than oranges. She looks like she's making a mess, doesn't she? Her mother was amazed. She said, "Wow, my kid is an artist." But after a week, Bridget got bored and she went to her mother and said, "Mom, did I draw on the wall?" "No," said her mother. "Did I draw on the floor?" "No," said her mother. "Did I draw on myself?" "No," said her mother. "Well," said Bridget, "I didn't get into any trouble and I need some new coloring markers. All my friends have them." "Mommy, there are coloring markers that smell. They have ones that smell like roses and lemons and oranges and even ones that smell like cow plops." Ew. "Mom, they have coloring markers that smell like anything you want." "Mom, I need those coloring markers." Her mother went out and got 500 coloring markers that smell. Then Bridget went upstairs and she drew pictures. She drew lemons that smelled like lemons, and roses that smelled like roses, and oranges that smelled like oranges, and cow plops that smelled like cow plops. Got all those markers. You think she's gonna get bored with these too? Her mother said, "Wow, my kid is an artist." But after a week, Bridget got bored and she said, "Mom, did I draw on the floor?" "No," said her mother. "Did I draw on the walls?" "No," said her mother. "Did I draw on myself?" "No," said her mother. "Well," said Bridget, "I need some new coloring markers. These are the best kind. All my friends have them. They are super indelible, never come off to your dead, maybe even later coloring markers. Mom, I need them." Do you think she really needs these markers? So her mother went out and got 500 super indelible, never come off to your dead, maybe even later coloring markers. Bridget took them and drew pictures for 3 weeks. That's a long time. And she drew lemons that looked better than lemons, and roses that looked better than roses, and oranges that looked better than oranges, and sunsets that looked better than sunsets. Look at this. Then she got bored and she said, "I'm tired of drawing on the paper, but I am not going to draw on the walls, and I'm not going to draw on the floor, and I'm not going to draw on myself. But everybody knows it's okay to color your fingernails. Even my mother colors her fingernails. Do you think that's a good idea?" So Bridget took a purple, super indelible, never come off to your dead, maybe even later coloring marker, and she colored her thumbnail bright purple. Then that was so pretty that she colored all her fingernails purple, black, and yellow. She's being really careful though, isn't she? And that was so pretty that she colored her hands yellow, green, and red. Do you think her mommy's gonna be mad? Let's see. And that was so pretty that she colored her face purple, green, yellow, and blue. And that was so pretty she colored her belly button blue. And that was so pretty she colored herself all sorts of colors, almost entirely all over. And then Bridget looked in the mirror and said, "What have I done? My mother is going to kill me." And she ran into the bathroom and she washed her hands for half an hour. And nothing came off. Her hands still looked like mixed up rainbows. Oh my goodness. And then she had a wonderful idea. What do you think her idea was? Let's see. She reached down into the bottom of the coloring markers and she got out a special colored marker. It was the same color she was. She took that marker and she colored herself all over until she was a regular color again. In fact, she looked even better than before. Almost too good to be true. She went downstairs and her mother said, "Why, Bridget, you're looking really good today." "Right," said Bridget. Then her mother said, "It's time to wash your hands for dinner." But Bridget was afraid the special color would not stick to the colors underneath. So she said, "I already washed my hands." Is she telling a fib to her mom? But her mother smelled her hands and said, "Ah, no soap." So she took Bridget into the bathroom and she washed her hands and her face. And all the colors came off. Bridget looked like mixed up rainbows. Do you think her mommy's gonna be mad? "Oh no," said her mother. "Bridget, did you color your hands with coloring markers that wash off?" "No." "Bridget, did you color your hands with the coloring markers that smell?" "No." "Did you use the super indelible, never come off to your dead, maybe even later coloring markers?" "Yes." "Yikes," yelled her mother. She called the doctor and said, "Help, help, help. My daughter has colored herself with super indelible, never come off to your dead, maybe even later coloring markers." "Oh dear," said the doctor. "Sometimes they never come off." The doctor came over and gave Bridget a large orange pill. And she said, "Take this pill, wait 5 minutes, and take a bath." So Bridget took the pill, waited 5 minutes, and jumped into the bathtub. Her mother stood outside the door and yelled, "Is it working? Is it working?" Look at the expression on her mother's face. She looks worried, doesn't she? Do you think the marker's gonna come off? "Yes," said Bridget, "everything is coming off." And Bridget was right. Everything had come off. When Bridget walked out of the bathroom, she was invisible. "Oh no," yelled her mother. "You can't go to school if you're invisible. You can't go to university if you're invisible. And you'll never get a job if you're invisible, Bridget. You've wrecked your life." She is invisible, isn't she? "Don't worry," said Bridget. She ran to her room and got the special colored marker and colored herself entirely all over until you couldn't tell the difference. In fact, she looked even better than before. Almost too good to be true. But her mother said, "Bridget, you can't go through life like that. You're just a picture. Everyone will know something is wrong." "No, they won't," said Bridget. She's coloring herself back the color she was. "Yes, they will," said her mother. "No, they won't," said Bridget. "I colored Daddy while he was taking a nap, and he hasn't even noticed anything yet. Good heavens, yelled her mother, and she ran into the living room and looked at Daddy. He looked even better than before, almost too good to be true. Doesn't he look great, said Bridget. Couldn't even tell the difference, said her mother. Right, said Bridget, and neither will he. Until what? Oh, as long as he doesn't get wet. The end.